to get better, and their competitiveness, because they go out there and compete. So that's been cool to see.
I know every year is different and every camp's different, but how far advanced do you think you are from at this point this year compared to last year when it comes to implementing your system, changing the culture, and just
hopefully better? But hope's not a good strategy. I think we're better. I think just being year 2, guys understanding the level of understanding that's going on. I always tell them, do you know or do you know? I think we know a little bit more, but we still got a long way to go.
There's been a lot of talk about some of the rookies. I'm curious your thoughts on, after these 3 weeks of both Rabbit and Elijah Jones, guys that are trying to work in the secondary, but seem like they've been a little bit more under the radar. Are they about where you expected them to be at this point?
Yeah, they're both doing a good job. I talked to Elijah last night. A couple things that he needed to get cleaned up, he did in practice, and Rabbit's been having a pretty good camp. He's doing a good job. 4th down as well, both of those guys.
How serious is Amari's shoulder?
Not serious.
What's going on with Max Mellon?
He'll be out there today.
When do you make a final decision on who's up come Saturday?
Probably tonight, honestly, because you got to see what happens today, But I have a pretty good idea. So do the players. But that can always adjust depending on what happens today.
Is Marv going to play?
Say it again? Yeah.
When you're evaluating,
We're all of a sudden getting case-by-case basis right now, guys. Go ahead.
when you're evaluating the other 2 quarterbacks behind Kyler, how does it enter into it when you're looking at who they're playing with, who they're playing against, and all those things as you come to an overall evaluation?
A little bit, but I'm more concerned what they're doing, But that's a good question, Howard. I mean, I'm looking for the operation, how we operate, decision making. Do we take care of the ball? That doesn't matter if you're playing with my 3 toddlers or if you're playing with Marvin and Dortch and whoever. So I think that that goes a little bit into it, but I'm excited to see these guys play against another scheme, other players, a rush that they know, even as intense as camp is for us, they know they can't get hit. Now they can get hit. So that brings another element into playing quarterback. So I'm excited for both of them.
You like that competition?
I have, yeah. I think they're both doing a good job, and if you graded the day each day, they would both probably tell you it's pretty even.
Over the years, I've heard coaches talk about there are some players that maybe they don't practice maybe as well as the coaches would hope, but when the lights come on, there's a level that they hit just because they perform better. Do you see that too, or generally do the guys that perform well in the games are the guys that you see are performing in practice?
I would say my general answer to that would be you're going to play how you practice. Now, you do see some guys when the lights come on, they find another level, and that happens. Whether, maybe it's, whatever, everyone's a little bit different, but some guys are gamers, but we need those guys to do that in practice too.
Pretty heated after the scuffle yesterday. What was that?
I just didn't like the decision.
You worried about that maybe showing itself against the Colts?
No, I trust our team. Obviously you guys know my relationship with Shane. I know how he runs his program. I know how I run the program. Not to say that it can't happen, but we're both in lockstep of what we want to get out of those 2 practices, what needs to happen on both sides. And I feel really good about going to get really good work versus them, keeping everybody healthy, both teams, evaluating, and getting good work in.
Threat of a $200,000 team fine would help stop?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of money, so yeah, hopefully.
I don't think you going back there kind of part of where it all started for you.
I mean, it was a good 3 years for me. I would say that, Josh. It's a great facility. And like I said, I know how Shane runs this show, so it's going to be a good week for us.
how valuable can that be just to have the guys go up against a different color uniform?
Huge, yeah, different scheme, different players. They got some good players over there. I'm excited about it. Both offense, defense, special teams. We're going to get to go versus some different people. And I do think it's a little bit safer than a preseason game. So you know that there's going to be some nicks and knacks, and you know there's always the threat of injury. But I do think the numbers would say those are safer ways to practice than put your guys in a game.
The rotation you like to use with pass rushers and the defensive line, if you even get further into preseason, like the second and third game, if your starters aren't playing, having more reps for the depth players, maybe they would in a regular game, is that worth the pros of, you know, more work on their body?
Yeah, I think, I mean, the guys that are out there playing need the reps and need to play and need to be evaluated and all those things. But they'll be, we're not going to do something on the player's behalf that we wouldn't ask them to do in a normal game. You know what I mean? So you guys know we're not going to have one guy on the defensive line play 65 plays, so we're not going to ask him to do that in preseason either. It's a good question, Danny.
Are you intrigued to see how the whole kickoff play is going to?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Yeah, the opening kickoff will be a little bit of will be a little different this time. But like I said, we've done a really good job with it. How Jeff has structured some things, I like where we're at with it right now. But we will have to make adaptations to that, I'm sure.
How do you treat it? Just like a running play where it's deep pitch or something?
Talk to Jeff on that. I'm not going to give you the secret sauce on that yet.
Are you going to attack it in one way for one game and then change it up the next? Or
I think so, yeah. And with you got to, there's a lot of different ways to go about preseason. You know, and I think that goes into your team too. I think that goes into who's calling the plays. Are they new? Are they not? Second year for us, you know, you could look at us and study us and see kind of how kind of the three coordinators call the game. But there'll be a little bit of element on all three phases. We want to run our stuff, and then you want to save some stuff too.
Could we see you guys try different things throughout the game just to kind of see what
Yeah.
works?
Yeah, you will. They got that locker room pumping today, huh? They're ready to go. That's it? Okay. Thank you, guys.
Okay, so when are we all taking our Hawaiian shirt picture?
Josh, will you take it for us, please?